Before you sign the papers on a used truck, especially at one of those buy here, pay here lots, the kind that finances you right there on the spot, I need you to stop and look for one box. Because a whole lot of these trucks roll off the lot with a second device in them the factory never installed. A kill switch. Not the OnStar box I've had you pulling. A separate one that the lender bolts in and wires straight into your starter. And the day a payment runs late, it stops the truck from starting. Around 2 million cars on the road right now have one buried in them. And today I'm going to show you exactly what it is, where they hide it, how to spot it in 30 seconds before you ever sign, and the one thing you must never, ever do while you still owe money on that truck, because it'll cost you the whole vehicle. I'm Hank. 40 years turning wrenches, the last stretch on a dealership floor. So I watched these get installed, and I know exactly where they go. Let me be clear about what this is, because it is not the factory tracker. Everything I've shown you up to now, the fuse, the antenna, the module, that's the car maker's box, the one that phones your driving home. This is a different animal. This is the lender's box. On subprime loans and those buy here, pay here lots, the ones that'll finance anybody, bad credit, no credit, all of it, a lot of them won't hand you the keys until they've installed their own little unit. It's a starter interrupt device with a GPS tracker riding along with it, and it goes by names like Pastime or Spirion's Gold Star. That's the one built specially for these lots. And here's the number that ought to stop you cold. At the peak, about 1 in 4 subprime auto loans in this country had one of these bolted in. Around 2 million vehicles, quietly, in the fine print. And understand why they do it, because it tells you exactly who it's aimed at. These lots make their money lending to folks the regular banks turn down. Bad credit, thin credit, somebody going through a rough patch. The lender figures that's a risk, so the box is their insurance policy. Miss a beat, and they can shut the truck down and go get it. Fast, cheap, no court, no tow truck chase across town. The outfits that sell these things brag to the dealers that they cut late payments way down, which is a polite way of saying it works because a truck that won't start is a powerful motivator. Trouble is, life doesn't run on their schedule. Your check clears a day late, your debit card glitches, their payment portal goes down on a Sunday, and you walk out to a truck that won't take you to the very job that makes the payment. That's the trap. And it's why catching that box before you sign matters as much as anything I've ever shown you. Here's how the thing actually works, and I'm going to be straight with you about the part that's true and the part that's overblown, because both matter. When your payment's coming due, the box starts warning you, a little light on the dash, or a string of beeps every time you start up, counting you down. Pay on time, and on some of these you punch in a code they text you, and it stays quiet another month. But miss it. Miss that payment, and the lender sends a signal over the cellular network. That signal trips a relay they spliced into your starter wire, and the next time you go to crank it, nothing. Dead. The GPS half is so they can find the truck and send the repo man straight to it. Now the honest part, because the internet gets this wrong in both directions. By design, these are built so they cannot shut your engine off while you're driving. They only block the next start, once you've already stopped and shut it down. That's the safety feature, and the makers are proud of it. But, and hear me because this is the part the salesman won't tell you, it doesn't always work the way it's supposed to. There are documented cases of people getting stranded when they shouldn't have been, cars going dead while idling, even reports of it happening out on the road. This isn't me spinning you a yarn. A couple of years back, the Federal Consumer Financial Protection Bureau went after one of these servicers and found they'd shut people's cars off by mistake around 7,500 times, set off those warning tones wrongly more than 70,000 times, and killed cars on more than 1,500 folks they'd specifically promised they wouldn't. The company got hit for around $42 million. So, it's designed to be safe is not the same as it's always safe. Keep both of those in your head. And let me tell you how little the law does to protect you here, because it's uneven as a dirt road. A handful of states looked hard at this and put up guardrails. Nevada, California, a few others, where the lender has to give you real warning before they cut you off. 48 hours in some, and leave you an emergency way to start the truck one more time to get to a hospital or out of a bad spot. That's decent, and if you bought in one of those states, good. But a whole lot of states have no rule on this at all. None. In those places, they can flip your truck off the minute the clock ticks 1 second past due, no warning, and it is perfectly legal. And this isn't some fringe thing the government's ignoring either. The Federal Trade Commission has come knocking on the big subprime lenders over exactly these devices. So depending on which state you signed in, you've either got a little protection or you've got none. And I'd bet most folks driving one of these couldn't tell you which. So, where do they hide it, and how do you catch it before you sign? Because this is the whole point of the video. You find it before the pen touches the paper. It's a small box, usually black, with a wiring harness coming off it, and they tuck it out of sight, up under the dash near the ignition switch, behind the kick panel down by your left foot, up around the steering column, or over near the OBD port, that diagnostic socket down by your knees. What you're hunting for is anything that isn't factory. A little box zip-tied up in there. Wires spliced into the harness that don't match the neat factory looms. A splice into the starter or ignition wire is the tell. And two things you can spot without even getting under there: a warning light or a little buzzer on the dash that shouldn't be on a plain used truck, and, sometimes, not always, a small extra antenna. I say sometimes because the newer units hide the antenna inside, so no antenna does not mean no box. And know this distinction because it matters. There are two tiers of these. Some are GPS only. They just track where the truck is, no kill switch. The other kind adds the starter interrupt relay. That's the one that can strand you. So finding a box doesn't automatically mean there's a kill switch. It means you ask the next question. And that's the real move here, the 30-second version for when you're standing on the lot. You look under that dash, and then you ask the dealer, straight out and in writing, does this vehicle have a GPS tracker or a starter interrupt device on it? You make them put the answer on paper. And you read the contract for the disclosure clause, because in some states, California's one, they are legally required to spell it out and get your signature on it. If they get cagey, if they won't answer plain, that itself is your answer. That's a lot telling you what kind of lot it is. And do a little more if you've got 2 minutes. Pop the hood is no good here. This lives inside, so you get down under that steering column with your phone flashlight and you follow the wiring. Factory wiring is neat, bundled, wrapped in that black loom tape, and it runs to factory plugs. What you're looking for is the ugly stuff, a box zip-tied to a bracket or just dangling, wires twisted or crimped or butt-connected into the harness, a splice that somebody added after this truck left the plant. Check right around that diagnostic port down by your knees, too, because some of the trackers just hang right off it. And turn the key to accessory, don't start it, and watch the dash for a light or listen for a beep that a plain used truck has no business making. 5 minutes with a flashlight before you sign can save you from a truck that answers to somebody else. Now, I'll say this once and then leave it be. Everything I know about the boxes they hide in a car, the lenders and the makers both, and how to find every one of them, I wrote down in a field manual called Kill the spy in your car. It's over at hankcalloway.com if you ever want it. If you don't, no matter. The rest of what you need is right here. Now, the part I promised you, the thing you must never do. Here is the line you do not cross, and it's the whole reason I framed this video around spotting it and not ripping it out. While you still owe money on that truck, that box is not yours. It is the lender's property. You signed a contract that says they can put it there and that you will not touch it. So if you find it and you get frustrated and you yank it out while you're still making payments, you have just breached your loan. And a lot of these contracts let them call the whole balance due or send the repo truck over exactly that. You'd be handing them the keys to take the whole vehicle. So do not pull the lender's box while you owe on it. Not the tracker, not the kill switch, none of it. I don't care how mad it makes you. Spotting it before you sign is your power. Pulling it after you've signed is you losing the truck. Once it's paid off, though, once that loan is satisfied and the title's got your name on it and only yours, now it's a different story. Now that box is yours and you can take it out. But even then, don't let one of those just yank it easy videos fool you because it isn't a plug you pull. That relay is spliced right into your starter circuit. The starter wire runs through it, so if you cut it out and don't put the factory wiring back together right, your truck won't crank at all. You'll strand yourself in your own driveway. So if you're handy, you restore that splice clean. And if you're not, this is a 20-minute job for any auto electrician. One more thing on payoff, and this is a real one. Get it in writing that they've deactivated the thing, because there are folks who paid their car off free and clear and then got stranded months later by a box nobody ever switched off. There's a fella down in Georgia who lived exactly that. Paid his car off, title in hand, done, and 2 years on, that little device still sitting up in his dash left him dead on the side of the road, out of his own pocket before anybody made it right. Paid in full, and still at the mercy of a box he never knew was live. So make them confirm, on paper, that it's shut off for good. So step back and look at the whole of it. This is legal. It's sitting in the fine print of millions of loans. In a lot of states, they don't even have to warn you before they shut you down. And most people driving one of these have no idea it's there until the morning it doesn't start. The power here was never in ripping the thing out. That just cost you the truck. The power is in knowing it's there before you sign, so you can walk or push back or go in with your eyes wide open instead of finding out the hard way in a parking lot. I'm Hank. About 40 years turning wrenches, the last stretch on a dealer floor, and no lender pays me a dime, which is exactly why I'll tell you to look under that dash before you sign, when the fella across the desk never will. Do me a favor down in the comments. Tell me if you've ever found one of these in a truck and what lot put it there, because naming them is how the next person walks in ready. And if you want it all written down, it's in the manual. Watch out for each other.